It's Samsung's second major Galaxy Unpacked of the year, and the device we've all been waiting for is here. The Galaxy Z Flip 4 is finally officially launched, and honestly, at first glance, it might not look like it's a lot different from the Z Flip 3, but that's not a bad thing. A lot of the changes here are refinements just to make everything look and feel a little bit better. For example, there's slimmer bezels and the hinge is a little smaller than before. And when I held the Z Flip 3 and the Z Flip 4 sort of side by side, I did feel that the new phone had a bit of a sturdier hinge, although whether that's because of wear and tear over time with the Z Flip 3, I can't really be sure just yet. Samsung also says the main screen of the Z Flip 4 is about 45% stronger than before, and overall, the device is covered in Corning Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, which is just more durable and scratch resistant. 4 colors are also available this time around. In addition to graphite, which is black, pink gold, you've also got Bora purple and blue. And honestly, my favorite is the blue. It's kind of a powdery pastel blue that I find more pretty than the Bora purple, which by now is just kind of par for the course for Samsung. Of course, if you want even more customization options, you can always try for Samsung's bespoke customization program that lets you just pick and choose what colors you want for parts like the hinge, the outside case, and the bottom casing. The cover screen on the Z Flip 4 also looks a lot similar to that on the Z Flip 3, but Samsung's made it just a little bit more useful by adding the ability for you to send quick replies to messages from here, as well as just implementing more widgets. For example, there's a new SmartThings widget that lets you control your Samsung branded appliances from the cover display itself. There's also more background clock designs, which make the cover display just look prettier overall. You're also able to now use that cover display as a screen for when you're going live streaming. So when you turn on the camera, you can switch over to the video camera and use that sliver of a window to sort of see yourself while you have the Z Flip 3 sort of half open, propped up on its own. This is very handy, I will say, for when you want to use the Z Flip 4 as a hands-free camera and go live streaming. But I still don't think that the cover display is big enough to be any use in these sorts of scenarios. Speaking of, Samsung says it's upgraded the cameras on the Z Flip 4. So even though there are still both 12 megapixel sensors on this thing, you've got some improvements in terms of the micron size, for example. Flex mode on the camera app, like before, allows you to swipe between modes like video, stills, or portraits by swiping your finger across the bottom half of the phone. Now, speaking of portrait mode, Samsung also says it's improved its portrait mode feature here. Though I can't do a side-by-side comparison yet, I did try it out on a person here at the event, and it did seem to blur out the background very nicely. Even though our demo space was very well lit, we found a dark corner to try to shoot photos in, and Samsung says it's improved its nightography for low light photos. And again, without a side-by-side comparison, I can't tell you just how effective this was, but I will say that that dark spot that we were taking a photo of did look very bright. One of the things I asked for when I reviewed the Galaxy Z Flip 3 is for Flex mode to be brought to more apps so that I can more easily use the Flip in one hand. Samsung may have heard me because now Flex mode is just much more useful across more apps, but they've also added a new touchpad feature that lets you use the bottom half of the Z Flip's screen as basically a trackpad, so to control a cursor that's on the top half of the screen. This works best, I think, when I'm using the phone in one hand and I'm too lazy to kind of reach over to the top half of the screen to interact with elements up there. So far, based on my limited use during the hands-on, it worked and it felt intuitive. You'd have to first go into the Samsung Labs setting though to enable this feature and turn it on for the apps that you want to use it on. Just like last year's model, the Galaxy Z Flip 4 doesn't skimp on specs either. It uses a latest generation Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. It's got an average size 3700 mAh battery, but Samsung says it supports super fast charging that gets you up to 50% in 30 minutes, as well as fast wireless charging. Like last year's Model 2, the Galaxy Z Flip 4 will start at $999.99. Like all of the devices Samsung is launching today, this will be available on August 26th. And of course, you can always go reserve one now, but As always, I'd like to caution you to wait until we are able to take this out into the real world and do some testing before spending your money. So for that and for more coverage of Samsung, Apple, and the world of consumer technology, make sure you subscribe to Engadget.